What is up, NFC North Roundtable fans? We've got a banger show for you tonight. NFC North recap of week 2, looking forward to week 3. And no, the title is not clickbait. I want to seriously know, is it time to move past the Caleb Williams project? We got Nick in the building, so he's going to answer that question. But I've also got all the creators in the building. I got Bass, One Bar, Dion, and Nick. Now, Nick's not here for a long time, but he is here for a good time. So we got to make sure that we get everything out of this that we can, because my gosh, 52-21 is wild to talk about. But we're not going to start there. We're going to tease it. We're not going to start there. We are going to start with Bass though. Week 2, you guys, Thursday night football, play the Commanders. Dominant win, 27-18, after a dominant win to start the season against the Detroit Lions. Now this is 2-0 against 2 playoff teams from a year ago, Bass. You got to be feeling really good about your Packers. Talk to me about what you saw in this Thursday night football matchup and what's got you so optimistic for the rest of the season, brother.
Yeah, man, this team has me extremely excited. I wasn't able, like I said to you guys at the end of the show last week, I wasn't able to watch it live. I did catch, I think the last quarter and a half. I got back to my hotel and put it on. I was like, all right, close this thing out, which they did. Man, it's been so impressive of this football team, especially the defense. I know everyone's talking about the defense, as they should, because I think right now, through 2 weeks, given their opponents, they are the best defense in the NFL through 2 weeks. I think they truly are. We look at their opponents in the Lions and the Commanders, 2 teams that last year, given, yes, 2024, it's a different year now, but each scored 30 points per game throughout the entire season of 2024. And the Packers, if you look at advanced metrics, DVOA, they're first on defense. I love the way they're flying around. Like what Jeff Hafley is instilling into this defense is fly around, swarm the football, and when you get there, try to punch that thing out. It seemed like that was a big teaching point this offseason, that no matter what, go up and try to punch that thing out. So I really like them doing that. And then the cornerback room, that was such a big concern for a lot of people heading into the season. And of course, adding Micah Parsons fixes a lot of that. Like getting pressure like the Packers are fixes your defensive back room. Like I was saying when we got Parsons, how that would, kind of come to fruition. But, you got to give your credit to Keyshawn Nixon, who, was targeted 5 times in this game, let up 0 catches, had 4 pass breakups. He's PFF's #1 cornerback, tied with, I think it's Surtain, #1 in coverage grade. Yeah, you also have Carrington Valentine, who's top 5 in PFF grade. He only allowed, I think, 1 catch for 7 yards. When you looked at their cornerback group as a whole in this game, Hobbs, who got his first action as a Packer here in 2025, Valentine and Nixon, they were targeted 10 times, allowed 1 catch for 7 yards. So this cornerback room, and like I said, their job's so much easier. And Micah Parsons said it best. Like he's never not played with a All-Pro or Pro Bowl cornerback. And he said, I'm going to make these guys a lot of money. And that's coming to fruition already through 2 weeks. So I really like how this defense is playing. We had 33 pressures against Jaden Daniels, and something going into this game was, okay, how can we contain Jaden? Like the Packers of the past, any running quarterback would destroy us, or it'd be a problem. And we talked about this. I talked about this with Dion and stuff, pretty much like, hey, is it going to be someone like Edrin Cooper or Javon Bullard spying Daniels? And at the end of the day, 7 carries, 17 yards, a 2.4 average for Daniels. You'll live by that. And as an overall, the run defense, just like week 1, did the same thing, even more so here in week 2, albeit against a lesser run-heavy team than the Lions, but 19 carries, 51 yards, 2.7 average. I mean, Javon Bullard flying around. He was great around the line of scrimmage. Defense has just been outstanding. I've been so proud of them. And then flipping over to the offense, it's been efficient, but there's a lot to be untapped as well. Like when you look at Jordan Love and watch some of his play during the first 2 weeks, he's very efficient and he's playing at a very high level. But they have still yet to unlock Matthew Golden's potential. There were 2 instances where Matthew Golden was open deep and Jordan Love was just slightly off the mark. It's going to happen with a rookie wide receiver. It's going to get cleaned up. That's why I hate looking at the box score or if you look at the box score, you have Matthew Golden, wow, 0 catches on 2 targets. He's a bum. It's not the case at all. Dude was wide open for a 92-yard touchdown against Quarters, got behind both defenders. Just Jordan Love missed him by a little bit there. And I think another thing on offense that's still kind of untapped to this point is the run game. The Packers are a very run-heavy offense. defense. Against the Lions, we saw not too much success until the late third, early fourth. And then this game, didn't run crazy efficiently. Still ran the ball pretty well overall as a team, 30 carries, 135, 4.5 average. But Josh Jacobs specifically, has been right around that 3.6 yards per carry mark, a lot lower than we're used to seeing from him. So I think that's a lot of untapped potential. But on offense, you see the breakout game of Tucker Kraft. I mean, the way he was utilized in this game plan, the way they used 12 personnel a lot in this game plan and set up different route combinations and levels to certain combinations worked out really, really well. To win 27-18 here against an opponent as good as the Washington Commanders, I'm super, super proud of this team to go 2-0, because when you're looking at the schedule when it came out, you're like, there is a chance we head into Cleveland week 3 0-2, because these are two good football teams. But obviously a lot has changed since the schedule came out. The Packers brought in Parsons, right? Even this year, just a lot has changed, drafting a receiver in the first round. And right now, I think they are at the top of the NFC. Obviously, I have a lot of bias in that, but you have the Rams, the Eagles, some other teams in there, obviously still the Lions. But I think right now through 2 weeks, it's hard to argue with the way that the Packers are playing.
Yeah, I think the Packers, to me, there's 4 teams in the NFC that I've really got my eye on. I think the Bucks, the Rams, the Eagles, and the Packers, those seem to be the cream of the crop. It's, very early. I think the most impressive thing for me, Bass, when I was watching that game, and you tell me what you think, is Jaden Daniels. We forget he's only in year 2, and he's played with so much poise since the day that he came into the league. And we even saw it against teams like the Eagles, where he's harassed at a very high level, and he still looks very poised. This might have been the first game where he just seemed completely rattled. I don't know that I've seen that from him. And, it's to be expected. It's only year 2 for him, but it was obvious. Like, he wanted no part of Parsons and that defensive pass rush. Did you see that from Jane Daniels? And if so, like, how impressive was that for you to see that?
It was very impressive, because I hold Jaden to a very, very high standard. Like, when I was watching him after last season, going into this season, I'm like, man, this guy's going to be a superstar in this league. And just thinking about our defense playing him, even with all the players that we have, I was worried about him extending the plays, right? We know how his offensive line lets up pressures. Josh Connerly, he had an awful game in this game, as expected. How he extends off of that. Like, sure, he gets pressured, but he can go and create a play. I think it's the hustle of this Packers defense, kind of what I mentioned earlier when we were, just talking about the start of this game, how they're swarming. Guys like Devontae Wyatt are getting 1v1 opportunities every single snap and stepping up to the plate. There was a play where Jaden Daniels dodged a sack, went right, cut back left, and none other than Devontae Wyatt held up with him, held his ground, and tracked him down in the backfield. And that's a big fella at the defensive line position. So I think the ability of these defenders to stay home, know their responsibilities, right? When we look at a lot of great defensive coordinators around the NFL, a lot of times we look at the Brian Flores's and we're going, okay, a lot of times we'll see cover 1, man-to-man, physical, pressure the hell out of the quarterback that way. But what's different with this Halfley defense is we're a primary zone defense. And that does very well against a running quarterback, because eyes on the quarterback, read and react, attack the football. And I think that was a recipe that stopped Jaden Daniels.
Absolutely. Well, 3 of the 4 teams lost this week in the division, which is not something we're used to from such a great division. This division is stacked with really good teams, but the Vikings losing to the Falcons 22-6. And, it's really interesting. I wasn't able to be here last week due to some circumstances, and I really wanted to talk about JJ McCarthy last week, but one bar, I know you also weren't here. So this is your first opportunity to really talk about him as well. It started off really, really rough in week 1. And then, he came alive, put on his Josh Allen mask and went crazy in that fourth quarter against the Bears to get the win. And then this week it was rough again. And now he's, got this high ankle sprain. A lot of people are saying allegedly. I don't know what's going on there necessarily. I don't know that I believe in some conspiracy theory, but it has been more rough than good. And listen, this is start number 2 for him, and he's played some good teams or good defenses out the gate. But overall, man, losing 22-6 has got to be disappointing to a Falcons team that might be a tiebreaker for a playoff spot. It really could. These are the types of teams that are going to be battling for that 7th seed potentially. So what did you see in this game? And in particular, like, how are you feeling about the JJ McCarthy situation after 2 weeks? And now he's going to miss at least a game here, minimum, possibly more.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't, I'm really not expecting him to be back until week 7, to be honest with you. I mean, high ankle sprain, they're looking at 2 to 4 weeks. They got the bye week 6. They're going overseas for a couple of games. So we'll see how it goes. But week 7, which unfortunately is against the Eagles, not a great game to come back to. But JJ McCarthy, so he's had 7 quarters out of 8 that have been fairly disgusting. There's no sugarcoating that. There's no sugarcoating that whatsoever. He's looked like a rookie. And the biggest gripe right now in Viking land isn't so much McCarthy. The play calling is very, very odd. It's very weird. Like Kevin O'Connell, like he's had Kirk Cousins, he's had Nick Mullins out there, he's had Josh Dobbs. I'm missing somebody, Jaron Hall. And he's just kind of said, there's never been any training wheels. It's just like, let's go for the throat, go get some points, go with the yards. And all of a sudden, McCarthy comes out, and I think he's being very hypersensitive and very, like I said, training wheels. There's like 19 sets of training wheels on JJ McCarthy right now, where they come out first play, or they come out on a series, they throw a 1-yard pass to Jalen Naylor. Second play, they run it to Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones up the gut. And the third play, they throw it short of the sticks. It's really weird. A lot of very confused Vikings fans right now as far as what's going on, because this isn't Kevin O'Connell's MO. This isn't what he does. And you pile that on top of, and I am not an injury excuse guy, and I am not going down that road, but with McCarthy, the dude's been sacked 9 or 10 times in 2 weeks. With Darrisaw being out, it's been absolutely horrifying with Justin School over there. He's not set up right now to succeed. I know there's going to be a lot more bumps in the road than wins this year, I think, when it comes to McCarthy. And that's expected, but this team's pretty damn talented when you look at it on paper. They got some boys that can definitely play some football, and it is just not coming together. And I put it honestly more on Kevin O'Connell right now than McCarthy. McCarthy's had some bad throws. He's missed some throws. But Kevin O'Connell needs to get his crap together, because if you can go out there and have Nick Mullins throw for 400 plus yards and you're having trouble with your first round quarterback even putting up over 150, that's an issue. And now that he's hurt, you can look at it 2 ways. Like this is definitely, I am not buying into any sort of conspiracy theory. I think they put him out there. If he goes out there and throws 6 interceptions in a week, like he's not coming off the field unless he absolutely has to. So to sugarcoat it, by the time he comes back, he's going to have Darrisaw. He's going to have Ryan Kelly back. He's going to have Jordan Addison out there. So it's almost a blessing in disguise. I mean, reps. That's what you want to see. I wish he wasn't out, or I wish he was not injured. But the fact that is, by the time he comes back, he's going to have those weapons. And by then, something maybe will click. But it's been a rough go. The worst part is week 1 against the Bears. Like, nobody really knew what the Bears were. Nobody really knew what the Vikings were. So the fact that they came back and won that game was like, hell yeah, let's go. And then the Bears get absolutely destroyed by 1,000,000 points. And it's like, all right, well, the Bears completely suck ass. So that win doesn't even really mean anything. So there's a lot of concern right now, a lot of valid concern. And the Falcons game was disgusting. The Vikings 2 weeks in a row, prime time, and they put up just a couple of the grossest clunkers you could ever ask for. But defensively, they're playing well. They got to get their stuff together. Kevin O'Connell, if you're going to be called the quarterback whisperer, if you're going to be called the offensive guru that you are, you need to figure this out. You need to figure it out quick, because warm and fuzzies are not being had in Minnesota at all. I don't know if you want me to get in the Falcons game yet, but that's just JJ McCarthy.
Yeah. Let's get into the Falcons game, man.
I'll make it
quick.
quick.
What were your thoughts overall? Yeah, go ahead. It was.
When
right?
it comes to the Falcons, time of possession, Atlanta had it for 36 minutes. We had 4 turnovers. Atlanta sacked McCarthy 6 times. Rushing yards 218 to 78. It goes back really to the play calling. It was just very, very confusing. The defense was set up to fail, really. Atlanta was 1 for 5 in the red zone. So defensively, they definitely did enough. You can look at it and say they scored 22 points, but Brian Flores with a very depleted defense, no Blake Cashman, no Van Ginkel, no Harrison Smith, like they did enough. It's just offensively, they did absolutely nothing. It was painful to watch. If I'm not a Vikings fan and that game's on TV, I'm turning the channel in a heartbeat because it was brutal. So Falcons, I think they're going to be a fairly decent team, but you don't let them come in to your home opener and just wipe the floor with you because it was brutal. I mean, Penix didn't even do anything. They held Drake London in check and got our asses kicked. And we're going to buckle up. I don't know what to expect, but we need our boys back healthy. That's for sure.
Yeah, they do. Well, listen, we're going to get into this Lions-Bears game. And, Nick, we're putting you on ice here. You're gonna go last because I got to hear this from you, brother. But Lions put belt to ass 52-21. Run the Ben Johnson special on Ben Johnson. You got to love that. Dose, I know you were loving every second of it. Talk to me about this game. You were very respectful, I believe, in your talk about the lead up to this game, and obviously you respect Ben Johnson, but 52-21, that was absolutely crazy. How do you feel about this game? Just walk me through what your thoughts were as this thing was going down.
Yeah, I mean, the way it got started was kind of how I thought it was going to ride. Let me sit up a little bit because I do this every week. Let me sit up a little bit. There we go. The way that this game got started, I thought was how it was going to ride throughout. Chicago went down and scored. We scored. I thought it'd be a little higher scoring on both sides. And then it was the halftime, the transition going into half, coming out of half. That sequence I thought was the end of the football game because the Lions really kind of stalled out for a couple of series there. And it was the time where Chicago really needed to make it a game because we hang on to like a 7-point lead at that time. Then we got up 21-7. And there was a point there where we end up intercepting a pass that Caleb threw that he shouldn't have thrown. Then they get stopped on back-to-back quarterback sneaks. And right there, I mean, the Lions had a chance to break that game open. And it felt like it was going to be over at halftime. But when that doesn't happen, Chicago responds. They make it a 7-point game. It was the sequence in the half for them to allow a touchdown right before halftime. The big catch by Tesla, the touchdown by St. Brown going into half. And then we come out of half, and defensively, we immediately get off the field. And they didn't really pick up any positive yards. Like my guess was Ben Johnson was going to have something up his sleeve for us. And I think he was teasing that from jump. I think he was trying to with a direct snap to Swift and having, here comes Caleb Williams wrapping around. Like they were trying to do something there. And they never really got to it. But it was coming out of half. And I thought to myself, okay, we got up 14. If Ben Johnson's anything like Campbell, he's feeling an urgency. He needs to go get points. He cannot go down 3 scores the way this thing is trending. So because of that, if this thing's anything fourth and short, he's going for it. He's faking a punt. He's doing something. But it never even got to a point where he could because it was such a long 3 and out, essentially. I mean, you had an immediate false start by Swift. It put him behind the chains, and it kind of killed the drive. And then we were able to go down and get the field goal. And once we were up 17, to me, it kind of felt like the game was over at that point. And I think that we got Chicago in a spot where they had to play a game that at this point in the season, I just don't think they're comfortable with playing offensively. That doesn't mean they'll never get there, but I don't think that's the game Caleb can play right now consistently for them to come back. And that was the game where you kind of just know he's drop back passing. Like Caleb has fantastic arm talent, and we see it like with some of those play action throws that he puts when he's on time, he rips those things, and they look fantastic, and they had some early wins against us. But when it turns into the game where he's dropping back, there is no threat of the run game anymore, and he's got to make decisions. And then our pass rush could become a little bit more effective. He's got to hit these tight windows and stay on time. That's where I thought we saw it against Minnesota the week before. It didn't take much pressure, and he felt like he became super inaccurate. I think that's the game that Chicago got caught in, and they got caught in a lot faster than I honestly thought it would be the case. But it was an opportunity where they could have closed the distance. They didn't close the distance. They didn't take advantage. We didn't take advantage of the opportunity. They didn't close the distance. We spread it back out in half, and then they weren't able to respond, and they needed to respond, and they didn't respond. So honestly, like, I thought it would be higher scoring, and it was trending that direction. It just felt like Chicago got into a game that they weren't ready to play. And I think in time they're going to get there. I think they're going to get there in time with Caleb and Ben Johnson. I just don't think they're there right now. So it's just one of those things where it kind of piles on top of each other. And I think we had that a lot last year. We had plenty of games that started to turn into that because I don't think every team is built to play that style. So if offensively you start to string together some possession, we start scoring and getting on the roll like we were. I mean, that was the biggest takeaway. To me, it wasn't much about the Bears. It was more about us. And on top of that, Chicago, and here's the fair part to Chicago, they lost both their corners. When they came in without Kyler Gordon, I thought that's big. And then they lost Jalen Johnson. And I'm like, okay, this is a big problem. And I felt from that point on, they had no answers on the outside. Tyreek Stevenson, it felt like we were trying to pick on him from jump. It was like, just stay away from Jalen, even though we had one on him. But then once he went down and Wright had to come back in, who had the pick 6, so that was like hype last week, but I didn't think he played well outside of that. Once that became the case, I don't think they had anybody that can match up outside anymore. And I think that led to a massive downfall because I think it just limited everything they could do. So I think we just got back to the style of what we were trying to do against Green Bay. The run game became a little bit more complete. The foundation was a lot more intact. You know, we threw the ball in early downs. We came out from that jump. It was much more aggressive. But from Chicago's perspective, I didn't think they had anybody to kind of relieve that stress defensively. They didn't have a player that was in a spot takeover, and they specifically needed that in the back end, and they didn't have it. So I don't know. Are we doing the full thing here? I mean, just a couple more notes. Are we wrapping it right there? Are we good?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Okay.
I think it was a good breakdown. Listen,
All right.
Dose. I mean, you
Yeah.
gentleman and a scholar, very, very nice breakdown. I would talk a little bit more trash, but that's just me. I feel like Nick would have talked a little trash, but
Let me
you know,
say
it's
this.
all right.
Let me say this, because fans thought I was going to do. They're like, "Hey, are you going to call Nick?" I'm not going to call Nick. All right, and here's why. We were here like 3 years ago. Okay, I've been in that situation for a long time. Okay, so I wasn't going to go there. The Bears have been in it for a long. Here's one thing: like Minnesota's pretty darn good usually. Green Bay's always good, so I'm going to talk trash to them. But in this spot, I wasn't going to go there yet. We're gonna chill out a little bit. It's not that. It's
Fair enough.
They're trying to figure something else that's new. They're trying to get their heads on. Look, I'm just being honest. I don't have that kind of hate right now. I don't feel that energy right now. Now, if
somebody's gonna talk some smack.
I mean, I just don't feel it right now. You know what I mean? I felt like we did what we were supposed to do. Just be honest. Like that was what the Lions were supposed to do in that game. We're on different levels in week 2. And eventually I think Chicago will start to close that gap, but they haven't yet.
Well, listen, Nick's got a heart out in about 7 minutes or so. So we've got to hear from him on this game. I love that you showed up. You made it happen. If you didn't show up, people wouldn't understand that you've got this work thing going on. They would just think you were scared and running from the butt whooping that came your way. But you're not running, my friend. 52-21. The Caleb Williams thing is so interesting to me because when the game script is put out and they're running off the script, it looks really, really good. And then the script ends and the game starts, and that's where things get a little bit wonky. I don't know about this Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams marriage. They just seem to be two different ships passing each other at night. I don't know if this is the best pairing. We will see long term. It's obviously very early, but talk to me about this game, man. What did you see? How the hell did this happen? And listen, 0-2, the optimism's got to be fizzling out very early on this season, I would imagine.
Well, want to start off with shout out to Dion for not taking too many shots. And by the way, I apologize. I was supposed to go on Dion's show last week, and I was in a wedding, totally missed that message. So my bad, dude. And I appreciate you still taking it easy on me after just absolutely making me want to jump off a bridge on Sunday. 52-21. Game was pretty fun at first. I mean, 7-7, like you were saying, opening drive. Script looks great. Last year, the Bears never scored. No field goal or touchdown on their opening drive at all last year. 2 for 2 so far this year. So they pull us in and they're like, okay, we're going to have a really good game. And then the downfall happens. In Detroit, I mean, obviously super hard place to go to for Ben Johnson. All the players were talking about earlier in the week, they were like, we're not going to take it easy on them. Boo birds are going to be out. And it was. The energy was there. It felt like a playoff atmosphere, or just an absolutely dominant playoff team walking in and playing a high school team. Like Chicago walked into that stadium scared. And they came out hot. They looked pretty good on the opening drive. So next couple of drives, all right, they were moving the ball okay. And then they just lost all momentum. Literally all momentum right before half when that one catch, Dose, I apologize, I don't remember what receiver it was on Detroit.
That's a lot.
Yeah, brought it in. And literally, like that just because everyone was starting to run in the locker room. We're like, okay, we're only down by one score. It's 21-14, not bad. And then they ended the half 28-14. Now the Bears started with the ball in with the ball in the second half. So hopefully everyone's like, okay, like let's just get down by one touchdown. And then suddenly it just took a complete nosedive. No denial about that. Energy was completely gone. Jalen Johnson getting re-injured, not ideal. TJ Edwards getting re-injured, not ideal. We couldn't get anything going. We weren't getting the tight ends working. And Ben Johnson literally came out and said, he goes, yeah, I need to be better with my game plans. Nothing was really working today. And what really actually ticked me off, and I talked about this on my show, but Ben Johnson after the game said, yeah, we knew at one point we just weren't coming back at all, and we just threw the towel in. I was like, you just came from Detroit, and Dan Campbell, the guy that put up a touchdown late in the game when he was already up by more than 20 points, then just decides to put another touchdown on us to go past 50. And this dude was talking about biting kneecaps off and everything. Like, where was that intensity? I was hoping for at least something for the Bears in the fourth quarter so they could come out and look somewhat respectful on paper, like maybe not get absolutely crushed like that, but Ben Johnson practically admitted that he gave up, and that kind of stung me a little bit the wrong way. But it's a new week. He's calling out the players saying, you practice like you play. He said it today. He's like, our practices clearly are not working right now. We got to make something work. So overall, game was super disappointed. Defense looked absolutely horrendous. No pressure on Jared Goff. Our secondary looked absolutely horrendous. And like, there's a lot of things to be worried about this Bears team right now. So we play Eberflus this week against Dallas at home. Hopefully we get a win to just get things going again. And we don't just have one good, our opening drive isn't our best drive. We have to find rhythm. And I posted about this a couple days ago too, but Caleb's stats year over year, significantly better for the first 2 games. So the progression is there. Bears fans we need to be patient, but it's very hard with as much hype as we had before the season started, especially having Ben Johnson come in. So I'm disappointed. Definitely struggled a little bit. Felt like a loser. We're back this week. Just shutting the door on last week, walking in week 3 already.
Well, you guys do have some serious things going on. Jalen Johnson out. Is that season ending? Is that the case there, or what's going on with him?
Yeah, so he had a groin injury right before training camp. They never specified what happened. He was like doing a personal training thing, and he got hurt. Obviously was out, missed week 1, came back. He had that awesome pass deflection in that game, and then he just never got up. They didn't even put the camera on him when he got up. He was able to get off on his own power, but he went on to 670 The Score, a local Chicago radio network, and said, yeah, I'm going to be out for a significant amount of time. So it sounds like the groin injury is pretty serious. I think they're going to throw him on IR at this point, because if he's going to miss the rest of the season, why keep the roster spot? But it's tough. As losing him, he was the heart and soul of the defense, a lot of energy out of him. And now someone else has to step up and do that.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Well, listen, I know that you have a hard out here in a couple minutes, so we're going to transition before we do our ad reads, and I'm going to let you kind of take it away and pick each one of these games real quick, just so that we have that on wax. We'll start with the Bengals and Vikings game, the 1 p.m. time slot. Who do you have winning this game? What's your score?
Yeah, it's in Minnesota. They're missing Joe Burrow. I think that after this past week, one bar, I know you took a couple shots at the Bears. I'm not going to take a couple shots at the Vikings, because obviously you guys own us right now. But I think Minnesota's going to come back swinging. I think Flores is going to send the house against Cincinnati. And I got the Vikings winning this one 28-17.
All right. Another 1 p.m. time slot. We got the Packers and the Browns. How do you have
You
this
know
one
what?
going down?
The Browns have like weirdly good stats across the board, and this is finally the Packers are not playing at Lambeau. When I saw that, I was like, "Holy cow! They're actually not playing at Lambeau." Fantastic! claps around the room. That being said, Cleveland sucks. Green Bay's winning that one. I got 31 to. I'm gonna go 24.
All right. We'll save the Bears for last, even though this game's prior. Lions at Ravens, Monday Night Football, man. This will be a good one.
In Baltimore, after, Cleveland holding Derrick Henry to nothing, I think Derrick Henry is going to absolutely just run like a madman in Baltimore. Sorry, Dose. I know we were being nice to each other before. I think Detroit's going to lose this game, unfortunately. Way different opponent than what the Bears are. You have a very established head coach and a really solid team. That being said, though I said Derrick Henry's going to run all over them, I still think it's going to be a closer game. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I got this one 20-17 Baltimore.
All right. And finally, your Bears versus the Cowboys, 4:25 p.m. time slot on Sunday. How do you see this one going down?
Every time I make a prediction, the opposite happens. I don't want to make a prediction at all. All I'm wishing for, can I just say what I'm looking for in this game? Is that fair?
If you want to pussyfoot around it, go ahead.
That's weak. That's weak.
What'd you say?
I said if you want to pussyfoot around it, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Bears win this one. I'm just going for it. It's two bad defenses going against each other. Super high scoring game. Absolutely pound the over. What I'm hoping for in this one is that Caleb Williams does better than one drive. I'm hoping to see hopefully a little bit more of the run game and pressure on Dak Prescott, especially after Dallas just lost their center for 6 to 8 weeks. So hoping for some pressure up the middle. But yeah, I need a Bears win bad, or else I might be running away from this show next week. But
All right, brother. Listen,
I'm not a
you got
scaredy
dinner.
cat. No scaredy cats here. We're gonna play the Cowboys, America's team. Even though it's America's team, the Bears are gonna win this one, Big Ten.
Well, thank you, DT. Appreciate you for dropping in. Go have fun at your dinner. We'll hold it down from here. Talk to you later, brother.
Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Yes,
Later.
sir. All right, Nick.
All right, there he is. As quick as he came in, he's also out. Let me remove him from all these here.
Whoa,
Just
whoa,
okay,
whoa,
we're good.
what are we doing here?
Yeah, this is
Oh,
actually
hold
good.
on.
This is good.
All right, here we go. All right. Listen, let's do some sleeper. All right. So sleeper link is pinned to the top of the description here. You get a 100% deposit match up to $100 using promo code RTS. Sleeper is a great daily fantasy, weekly fantasy, yearly fantasy app. I know that my Dynasty League is built through Sleeper. And on top of that, you also can have a little skin in the game. It's very skill based here. We do some more or lesses, and that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to start. We're actually not going to do the Bears because
Thank
obviously, Nick's not here, and who really
Surprised
wants
they
to talk
even
about
offer
the
that
Bears if
still.
Nick's not here. Yeah. But we do have Green Bay. So I'm just going to, first of all, Thursday Night Football, we got Tua on a freebie. He just needs one passing yard. I think we can get that. So we're going to take that freebie and add it here. I know, who knows.
Yeah.
But Bass, we got some Packer action here. Josh Jacobs, anytime TD. Jordan
Yes.
Love,
Josh
232
Jacobs
and a half.
anytime.
Yeah, oh, you want them more?
11
Okay, all right.
straight.
Well, that
11
was
straight. He has 11
okay.
straight.
Jeez, man. All right. I like
Easy.
this. Oh, gosh. If he's on here, please be on here. Oh, yes. Listen, one bar, this may not be who you wanted to go with, but we're going with Carson Wentz. If anybody is Carson Wentz this year's reclamation project, maybe it's possible here. 216 and a half passing yards against a horrendous Cincinnati Bengals defense. More or less on this one?
It's gonna be hilarious because KOC is gonna uncork Wentz. I mean, Wentz might throw 10 interceptions on Sunday, but he's getting over 216. Like it's gonna be very entertaining. So I'm going over, and it's very over. Hit that
All
thing a
right,
couple
very
times.
over. I like this. Okay, all right. Dose, you guys got the Monday Night Football slot, man. Amon-Ra St. Brown is always getting in the end zone, it seems. We got an anytime TD on him. Same with Gibbs. We got Goff for 264 passing yards. Anything here that you're liking?
Yeah, I would just roll Montgomery. Like I'm gonna go more for sure. So I'd go Montgomery. Give me more on that.
All right.
What are the
perfect.
odds
Listen,
on that? Does it have odds or is it like a?
Oh,
Like,
it's
like a
no,
multiplier.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
God.
multiplier. It's a big time multiplier here. In fact, let's go back here. Let's check that multiplier. Yeah, 2.17x. So just based off of our picks, we got 11 times. We're gonna throw a 10 spot on that one, and that's gonna put us at around $110, $115 right here for playing $10. So here's the deal: you can tail us, you can fade us, you can make your own picks. But definitely don't miss out on the action. Sleeper's a great way to have a little bit of fun. Just put $100 in, get your deposit match up to $100 using promo code RTS. Have some fun with us on Sleeper. And listen, if you get buyer's remorse, you can always cancel it. We never do that here, but maybe you guys want to. That's up to you. All right, let's also talk about the tandem app that is really kind of perfect if you're going to be playing that fantasy through Sleeper. Let me add this in here. Perfect. All right. We've got this over. All right. We got RotoWire. So great tandem fantasy football app to pair with your Sleeper. Promo code RTS for 15% off. Here's how you want to use this in season. Again, every league is different. I talk about this every single week. But for example, I'm in a league with a super flex. We have 7 reserves. We've got the one, the basic standard after that, but the scoring is always different. So maybe you're in a league where you get bonus points for 300 yards passing or 350 yards passing. Same thing with rushing and receiving. Every league is different, but what you can do is you can set up based off of your league standards. You can save those settings and then the rankings adjust based off of that. So if you're in a flex league and you've got a wide receiver and a running back and you're trying to decide between the two, certainly you can go to a random fantasy football app website. They're going to have their rankings for generic settings, or you can use RotoWire. They're going to give you the real deal and say, hey, based off of your league, this is the rankings that we have. We pull all the experts in. This is what we have. And usually they're pretty damn right. So if you want to win in fantasy, I highly recommend using RotoWire as the best tandem fantasy football app out there. Once again, promo code RTS for 15% off. All right, fellas. We're minus Nick, but we did get his picks before he left. So we're going to go one by one picking these games. Vikings, Bengals, 1 p.m. time slot, 1 bar. We'll get to you last. Bass, we're going to start with you. How do you see this one going down, brother?
Yeah, so it's, the matchup we've all been waiting for, the Jake Browning, Carson Wentz. I would be, dude, honestly, I'm kind of excited. Like as much as that, like sometimes those games where you just have like random ass quarterbacks in there, guys like Wentz from, former almost MVP, like guy could randomly pull something out there. Browning was kind of fun to watch at the end of the last game, threw 3 interceptions, but won the game, right? Like he still is Jamar Chase. He's just going to be like, F it. Jamar Chase is down there somewhere and just throw it up. So it could be pretty fun to watch. I saw Aaron Jones got put on IR, which, it's unfortunate. I kind of expected that. He kind of has a lot of injuries recently, but unfortunate. But also like Jordan Mason's going to get really implemented heavy now, which I think is going to help them overall. The one thing I will say is, as much as it would be hilarious for Carson Wentz to kind of revitalize his career, his last start for Kansas City, they lost 0-38 versus Denver, and he was 10 for 17 at 98 yards. Honestly, I honestly think they might have been like shaving points, like just to lose purposely to keep the Bengals out of the playoffs in that game. I don't really know. Browning looks serviceable. Like I said, 3 interceptions. It's going to be an absolute barn burner. Cincinnati 9-6.
Well, wow, geez. Okay. First of all, you trying to get us off the air, calling out the NFL for shaving points is a great start. And then 9-6 in a barn burner, Vikings losing. Wow, this is very impressive. All right, Dose, how do you see this one going down? Bengals and Vikings, brother.
The matchup we've all been waiting for is crazy. This is crazy. Look, man, I'll say this about the Vikings. It feels like a get right game in some ways, which sounds crazy because McCarthy's not there, but like in the trenches, very disappointed. I mean, not having Christian Darrisaw stinks. It seems like he's going to get back this week. It sounds like, so that's massive. Also, that defensive line that they paid a lot of money to on the interior looks awful. I mean, maybe I haven't seen the right plays, but I watched a play where Hargrave was like 8 yards backwards. Things like that are concerning. But when you're going against the Bengals, it's like, okay, we're going to get right because that O-line's pretty trash. Now, I understand they have some dudes on the defensive front. But if the Vikings get Darrisaw back, I would think they're going to settle in a little bit more comfortably. But overall, that's been the biggest disappointment for me. Is it just doesn't feel like they're getting it right on the trenches. I know we talked about McCarthy a little bit. Everything just feels a little bit behind. I actually think Wentz is going to speed things up a little bit. I think he's going to come in and be very comfortable. But they got to get guys open, and they need a little bit of time to make it happen. Matchup to me is Cincinnati D-line against that O-line. Like, how much does Shamar Stewart cook in this game? Like, that's where I'm at with it. I think Jonathan Gennard's going to have a big game. So for me, it feels like, gosh, I'm going to go Cincinnati. I'm going to go a little bit higher scoring. I'm going to go 21-20. Let's take Cincinnati to win it. 21-20. Let's say they go for 2 because that's just fun. Let's do that.
Well, Bill Belichick, we're on to Cincinnati. That's where the Vikings are on to. Is Darrisaw playing in this game 1 bar before we get into it?
He was full today, but he's been up and down. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he don't practice tomorrow. It's all over the place. I hope so. Like right now, last week, Justin School, who was the backup left tackle, went out with a concussion. Then they bring in Walter Rouse, who's never even played left tackle. They throw his ass over there. I mean, it's pretty gross. Ryan Kelly wasn't out there the second half. Offensive line, Donovan Jackson's our rookie left guard. Great first week. Second week, he looked like a rookie. So Darrisaw needs to be out there.
All right, brother. Well, listen, you've got you got them picking against you, going against the Bengals here, man. How do you see this one playing out? Can the Vikings get it done? What are your thoughts on this one?
Well, this is just weird. Like, and this is not, like I said earlier, like I don't use injuries as an issue. Every team has injuries, but like this game, like what we're going to see on Sunday isn't the Vikings. Like that's the weirdest part. Like there's so many players out at this point. It can be 3-0. It can be 2-0. At this point in the game, get a win and worry about the rest of it later. Like, get your players back out there. But right now, they need to stockpile wins, and I don't care how ugly it is, but they just got to get them because this isn't the team. Carson Wentz isn't the guy. Walter Rouse isn't our starting left tackle. Aaron Jones isn't out there. Ivan Pace is our main middle linebacker. Like, there's so many guys that will never play when these guys get healthy. So it's going to be weird. Jake Browning, former Minnesota Viking great. Last time we played him, he owned us. It was hilarious. Like, Jake Browning was always a fan favorite, and he kicked the hell out of us last time. But I think it is going to be different. Like Carson Wentz, Baz, you said it best. I mean, like, nobody knows what to expect from this. It's either going to be absolutely disgusting where he's out there and looks like his last start, or it's going to be like, holy hell, this guy just does not care. He's 32 years old. He's been in the league forever, and he's going to be like, wow, I got Justin Jefferson on my team. I'm going to go throw it to him every damn time. So it's anybody who's trying to guess how this offense is going to look is exactly what that is. It is an absolute guess. But I do think we're going to see a completely different offense where Kevin O'Connell is going to go down that road where it's a Sam Darnold or whoever it may be, and you say, Wentz, go out there, do your thing. And I don't think it's going to be this dink and dunk crap and just very conservative. I think they're going to go down swinging, and it could backfire on them. Aaron Jones being out does suck, but it does force their hand because Jordan Mason has looked like a much better runner this year, and he's not getting out there until like the third possession. It forces their hand where it's like, all right, Jordan Mason is going to be the lead back. I don't think the Bengals defense is overly great. Trey Hendrickson, obviously, if we're out to our third starting left tackle, Trey Hendrickson is going to get his, but that's what it comes down to. JJ McCarthy, when he's been out there, he's been in the pocket too long. He's one of the worst in the league as far as just staying in the pocket too long, and that's why he's been sacked so many times. So hopefully Carson Wentz can get the ball out of his hands quicker than that. We will see. It's all, to me, this all comes down to how Wentz plays. I know the defense will show up even though they're a little depleted. They'll do enough to get after it. It comes down to getting 18 involved. It comes down to Jake Browning. Look like Jake Browning last week against the Jags, where he does throw 3 interceptions. We can't make that guy look good. It's just not in the cards. And pound the ball to Jordan Mason. But I do have the Vikings winning. I think it's a fake win. It's not the real Vikings team, but we do need a dub. Vikings win 3-0. 3-0. Will Reichard hits a 62-yard field goal to win it. It ain't going to be pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty. At this point in the game, get an effing dub. Get a dub. Get these guys back. We got the Browns. We got the Steelers. 3-rip. Will Reichard, one of our best players on the team right now, is gonna win this thing at the end.
These score predictions are absolutely phenomenal. Great job, fellas. Great freaking job. All right, Packers at Browns, 1 p.m. time slot. Dose, how do you see this game going down, man? Who wins this one? Do the Packers keep that undefeated record going into this Week 3 matchup? What's going to happen here, brother?
Yeah, I'm scared for Joe Flacco a little bit in this one. I think this is going to be a disaster. Like, straight. I mean, I just think that offensive line is going to get torched. And if I'm Green Bay, I'm blitzing the heck out of every linebacker I have. I'm putting Micah Parsons all over the field. We're 3 weeks in. All right, we're gonna play around with him. Cleveland couldn't pick up a thing last week. I understand it's Baltimore, but man, they looked lost every time. They didn't even have to blitz. You bring him from somewhere that's not on the D line, and they were lost. And they didn't pick him up at all, and he was sacked. And I started to feel bad a little bit watching. Like, okay, I feel like Joe Flacco maybe isn't playing terrible, but he's getting 0 shot. And I think with Green Bay's defensive front, that's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare for him. I don't know how they score points in this game. I actually have no clue how they score a point in this game. It's the flip side where I think they can slow down Green Bay's run game a touch. I think they can. I mean, they did well against Henry. I think they can get a feel. They can do that. They can get a little disruptive up front. They have the bodies to do that. But man, they're not going to score a point. I'm going Green Bay 20-0.
All right. Wow.
I don't think
way
they
to have
score.
Wait, I love it. All right. One bar, man. Packers, Browns. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, this will be very short and sweet. Like one of the worst offenses in the league going against one of the hottest defenses in the league. The thing with the Packers right now, which as a Vikings fan, I hate, but as a Packers fan, you got to absolutely love, is like they're oozing confidence. When you watch them, it's like, I already know they're getting a first down. I already know they're going to stop these guys. And it's translating to every aspect of their team. And the Browns, I mean, you're right, Dion. I don't think they are going to score a damn point. This is going to be ugly. The only way the Browns have any sort of shot at Myles Garrett sets some sort of damn record and gets about 9 sacks. And for some reason, the Browns run the hell out of the ball and get 250 yards on the ground. So I got like 21-3. I'll give him a field goal.
Here's what you guys don't see, right? You guys are giving these predictions, and you got Bass in the background, right? Looking like a proud father every time you guys give a score prediction. He's just like, that's my Packers, man. That's my attaboy. Love
I'm
it.
giving them more points than you guys are.
So Bass, it sounds like, listen, you're obviously very confident in your Packers, as you should be in this one. But you got a little bit more respect for the Browns. It sounds like offense. Maybe we'll see here. What is your score prediction here? How do your Packers get it done, brother?
I just have a little bit more respect because shout out Joe Flacco, University of Delaware, just got the first FBS win of all time last week. So like I'm a big UD guy. So that's why I like Flacco. I just give him a little respect, but man, he's a statue. Like it's going to be rough back there. You know, when you look at their offensive linemen and pressures allowed, Cornelius Lucas, second most pressures allowed for all right tackles. DeJuan Jones, fifth most pressures allowed for all left tackles. Wyatt Teller, first for all right guards. And then when you compare it to the Packers, who already have 52 pressures through 2 games against the Lions and the Commanders, and look at a guy like Edgerrin Cooper, who has 5 pressures, first for all linebackers, in 8 pass rushing snaps. Like that is absolutely insane. He has 5 pressures and 8 pass rushing snaps. So when Dion, you were saying like just throw a linebacker at him, like if they can't contain that, well, no one's been able to contain that. So if the Browns are really bad at containing that, you know, we're going to see a lot of A-gap pressure, a lot of simulated pressure, which I think Jeff Hafley has done a masterful job at. Joe Flacco, like I said, I give him respect. And I think also, like you guys were saying, you know, this defense is a good defense in terms of yards allowed. They're first, like they have less yards allowed than the Green Bay Packers, surprisingly, but they have 0 turnovers created. Now the Packers only have 1, but it was surprising to see, you know, a team that's allowed that low amount of yards doesn't even have a turnover. So I think if the Packers protect the ball, we'll be fine. But it's also like you guys mentioned, you know, Myles Garrett, he'd have to pretty much set a record in this game to make this thing, you know, come out with like a close game or a victory. And we might be without Zach Tom. So there's a little bit of, you know, issue there. Aaron Banks will be returning. He said it himself in the locker room today. So he'll be returning to left guard. If Zach Tom can't play with his oblique injury at right tackle, it's like, who do you put in? Do you just throw Jordan Morgan there at right tackle for the first time ever? Do you keep Anthony Belton like you did last week? Darian Kennard, kind of mix him in like you did? I mean, you got to chip the ever-living hell out of Myles Garrett every play anyways, but obviously Zach Tom being out there fully healthy would give them a better odds of at least somewhat containing him. Cleveland also has the number 1 run defense. So the Packers, you know, haven't really showcased their best running ability through 2 weeks, but I feel like that's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, they could go against the number 1 run defense through 2 weeks and actually have their best running performance of the year. I think that could happen. It's a good defense. I think Matthew Golden is slated for a breakout game finally. And I do have the Packers winning by multiple scores. I have it 24-13. So I'm giving the Browns more points than you guys are, but I could totally see this being a game where for some reason it's close at the end. The Packers hit like a game-winning field goal and you're just like, yuck, get the hell out of Cleveland, get back to Green Bay, like move on to Dallas next week because like that was disgusting. You still maybe end up with a win, but you're like, ugh, like, yeah, no way that should have went down to that. But I have the Packers winning 24-13. I think they're playing at a very high level right now. And it's like, the Browns offense, like you guys said, it's just like, what are you going to get out of them?
Yeah, well, respectable. Listen, Relentless Mikey wants to know where Nick is. We had to kick him out at halftime like the Lions did to the Bears, but we're going to talk about the Bears game real quick. Nick already did talk about it. He's got the Bears beating the Cowboys. Dose, we'll go back to you, man. Bears versus Cowboys, 4:25 p.m. time slot. You were very nice after winning 52-21. You let Nick off the hook a little bit, but here's your chance to get some get back. Do you have the Bears winning this one, or you have the Cowboys winning?
Yeah, I'm going to let you down here. I'm going to let you down. I think they're going to win the game. I think they're going to get their first win of the season. I actually like this matchup for them against Dallas. I think for them, offensively, you know, as kind of mentioned, like they play off schedule and things get really messy. I think against Dallas, they're going to have much more success being who they need to be in this game. And I think their offensive line is going to have a much better matchup in this one than in week past. I don't think they have like a big time rusher to go in against. I mean, they added Jadeveon Clowney. They have some young guys in there that are cool and they'll flash a little bit, but I don't think they have anything like that up front. So I think they're going to be much more consistent on the O-line. this whole line was invested in like crazy, and you haven't felt it at all from Chicago. Well, this is a game where that gets right, and it feels like on paper they should have a slight advantage this week, and I think they will have a slight advantage this week. And then in the DB room, like that's another spot where Chicago's strong at receiver. They've always been very strong at receiver over the last few years. So I think for them, Colston Loveland starts to get the ball a little bit. I think they're going to score plenty in this game. I think they score 30 points in this one, and then it's just about slowing down that Dak Prescott offense, because that has been really good, and that's the problem is. I don't know what that looks like without Jalen Johnson. I don't know how they get off the field. I don't know how they get stops without those cornerbacks. I mean, hopefully Kyler Gordon comes back for him, but for them, I don't know how they match up with either of those guys. They're going to have to give so much support there and then trust that front to stop the run. And again, that's another spot where offseason, these additions like Grady Jarrett, like these are guys that are hyped up. I feel like they haven't made any impact at all. So it's like, this is the game where we need to feel it. We need to feel these. Noah Sewell, I think, helps them against the run, but these guys that we've invested in front, like you guys got to handle business against this O-line, because Dallas invested, but they've been shaky. They need to be great this week that we can leave these safeties to give us some support, because otherwise they're going to torch you down the field. So I think they're going to do enough. I say 30-27, Chicago finds a way.
All right, you got Chicago winning. That's 2-0 because Nick picked them as well. Bass, how do you see this one going down? You have Chicago winning, or are you going to break the trend and go with the Cowboys?
I mean,
right.
They're 0-2, and like what they just like the Lions are a phenomenal team. So it's like, yeah, you kind of expected Chicago to lose that one, but just with what they put out there, and like you said, without Jalen Johnson, being able to maybe shadow CeeDee Lamb a little bit. I don't even know if they shadow him on top receivers, but just having him out on the field. There's a ton of injuries out there. I think Dak Prescott's playing at an extremely high level, honestly, more than people are giving him credit for. His big time throw percentage right now is like 8.82%. They're making big time plays, especially in that last game against the Giants. I was watching the end of that one. I was like, oh man, this is an awesome game. And I think Dallas, their defense is definitely suspect right now. And I think Caleb will have success. Like I think Caleb, this will probably be his best game here in 2025 because Dallas, 30th against the pass, overall 30th in yards in terms of their defense. So I think Caleb will have success, but I think Dallas will have more and they'll prevail in the end. I think it'll be a close one, pretty high scoring game. I got Dallas 31-27.
31-27 Dallas. All right, the only one to pick the Cowboys thus far. One bar, you can tie things up here and go with a split. Who do you have winning this one, Bears or Cowboys, and what's that score?
I mean, there's a lot of chatter about, Jalen Johnson being out, which is definitely a blow to the Bears, but like they could have 10 of him. It doesn't matter. I mean, until they actually do something, like there's no reason to pick the Bears at this point. I know I'm not big on the Cowboys at this point either. I mean, they're giving up 30 points a game. But here's the thing with the Bears, and if Nick was here, I'd say the same damn thing. It's like it's the same thing where it doesn't even look like some of those guys want to be out there. It's so weird. You got a brand new head coach. You got a first overall pick at quarterback, and they're laughing at the end of the game with Detroit. Caleb Williams is on the sidelines, like he's smiling. It's like something has to change, and until that does, I am not going to pick the Bears ever until they get a win on the season. So I don't care who they play next week or the week after. Until they get a win, I'm not picking them. I'm not believing in them. They got the talent. They got a new coaching staff, but it's just a disaster there, and it's the same old story. So I'm not picking them. I think Dallas goes in there, puts up a ton of points, 27-13. Caleb Williams, I mean, this is your chance. You should be able to have a good game. You should be able to put up a lot of points. Let's see you do it. Let's prove why you were that first overall pick. But I'm just not buying it. I got to see it. I mean, that last week, that game was such an ass kicking. It was painful to watch. I mean, it was tough.
It wasn't painful.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely
Dion. You must have just been sitting back
all
damn day.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I enjoyed it a lot, actually.
The Bears, they don't even look like they want to be out there, man. I feel bad for the Bears fan. Honestly, I do. I like Nick watching his videos afterwards. He's trying to find some way to pump these guys up. And, Caleb Williams is 20 games in. It's like at this point, it's not like, oh, there's the little flashy play. That's what we want to see. It's like, no, you got to have a bunch of those. Like, come on.
Tyson Bagent time. That's what you're saying.
Let's go. Their guy.
Perfect.
I know they're thinking.
Well, listen, you loved this last week game, Dose, but I don't know if you're going to like this one. We'll see here in the prediction at the Ravens on Monday Night Football. This was a tough matchup. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but they definitely put it on you guys. It's a matchup that can be tough for anybody, really, and this is going to be no different. The Ravens are a very, very good football team, especially in prime time. Bass, we're going to start with you on this one. Lions at Ravens. How do you see this one going down, brother?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited for this one. Obviously, prime time in Baltimore. I love watching Lamar Jackson play. I think it's going to be a high scoring one. I think it kind of has to. Baltimore, has 409.5 yards per game allowed on their defense. I think Jared Goff and company, they're going to move the football. It's going to be a high scoring game, but it's hard to pick against Lamar, at least in the regular season. So it's hard to pick against them here. So I'm going to go Baltimore, like a game-winning field goal, maybe even overtime. Like, honestly, it's hard to pick against Lions here too, but I think it's going to be real close. I got 38-35.
38-35. I love that score prediction, man. That's a little bit different than your 9-6 you dropped earlier. Okay, well, one bar. How do you have how do you have this one going down, man? This, as a fan of another team, this is just one that you sit back and enjoy. You got two high-powered offenses going at it. Love the score prediction from Bass. One bar, how do you see this one going down? Do the Lions come out of this 2-1, or do they leave 1-2? What do you think?
Oh, it's crazy. Like, one of these teams after this week is going to be 1-2. Like, that doesn't even sound right, because they shouldn't be. And Baz, you're right. I mean, this could be like 98-96 final score. I'm expecting a ton of points in this game. It is going to be fun to watch. Obviously, the game of the week. It's going to be fun. I think it comes down to how do the Lions front seven against Lamar? How are they going to do? I think the Lions, like, they're going to get some yards on the ground. And I think that week one was a little bit of a jolt up their ass to get things going. Like, I was going into the season, like, how are they going to do? What are they going to do in week one? Obviously they get the L, but week two, they just go out and absolutely explode. So it's going to be a fantastic game. Gibbs and Montgomery, they are going to carry the load to the point where Jared Goff is going to be able to pick apart that Ravens secondary and put up some yards, play action. So I got the Lions actually winning 37-30. A lot of points. It's going to be fun as hell.
That's scoregami. Might be scoregami.
Might be scoregami. Oh, yeah, I love that. I love it. Listen, two high-scoring games according to the other panelists. Dose, how do you see this one going down, man? I know you're very realistic when it comes to looking at these matchups, and you know that this one's certainly going to be a tough one no matter what. On the road, Monday Night Football, you get a chance to prove yourselves. How do you see this one going down on Monday night?
Yeah, I got to be honest. As soon as you said that, I thought 42-10. I mean, we are going to smack the Ravens. But no, honestly, man, y'all got me like a little bit shook a little bit. I wasn't expecting to hear those predictions, but for me, I ended up going much lower scoring. I actually think it's going to be the opposite. Baltimore concerns me all the time defensively because they move so much defensively, and I still think on the interior they're very stout, which is where we have our biggest issues right now. So I think we're going to have some problems. We're going to have real negatives in this game offensively. I think they're going to get free sacks, free rushers. They're probably going to turn us over one time. And I think special teams is going to play a huge role. So shout out to special teams. But I want to flip it around because I actually think our defense is going to be much better than people expect in this game. First off, Casey Rogers has been prepping himself for this game for the first 2 weeks. How do I deal with a quarterback taking off? And really, going through that last game, Lamar versus Cleveland, he didn't take off that much. It was a little surprising, but offensively, the style that they're trying to play, they didn't take off much. Maybe they get that more in the mix. I don't think their passing concepts are that detailed. It's like a lot of mesh and over routes. Like, there's not a lot to it, it feels like. So it does all feel like it stop and starts with, hey, how do we slow down Derrick Henry? And I actually think we match up pretty well against that O-line. I don't think we're going to have to send extra bodies to go win up front in this game, which is going to be a massive game changer. I think it's hard to find matchups on their back end that you want to take advantage of, but I think they're going to feel the same way looking at our back end as well in this game. So because of that reason, I think this one's going to be much lower scoring. I'm teetering at 24-23, kind of where Bass is. We kind of walk off with the field goal here at the end on the road. Jake Bates pushes one through. And I think that's kind of how it's going to go. I think both teams are going to have negatives. Both teams are going to turn it over, but the Lions will get the ball last. And that's what's going to matter in this one.
Looking at your back end is a crazy way to talk about it.
I said it. When I said that, I was like, ooh, I probably should have said something after that just to make sure people weren't like, oh, okay, this guy. Let me click off real quick. But I didn't want to bring it up. So you bringing it up, you brought attention to something like that. I said it twice, by the way. So
yeah, I know you did. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, caught it the first time. Wasn't going to let it go the second time. All right. Listen, Jeremy coming through. He says, go, Pack, go. I swear that stupid chant haunts me from the 90s as a 49er fan. Go, Pack, go. Oh, my gosh, dude. I hate that freaking thing. Brett Favre stomping all over us year after year in the playoffs.
Drunk
Ugh,
fans
get it
just
out of here.
screaming it. Like absolutely
Gosh,
wasted.
man. Anyways. Chris comes back and sets the record straight. He says, screw the Packers, skull
Attaboy, Chris.
Vikings. There we
Chris
go.
I know order is
Well
restored.
done.
I know order is restored when screw the Packers comes before Skull Vikings. That's when I know order is restored.
Priorities. I see.
Absolutely love it. Actually, this is a great point here. Zay Flowers, two of my favorite receivers in the league, both smaller guys, both ball out. Zay Flowers and Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love watching both these guys, and they're going to be on the field one right after the other all game long. It's a fun one to watch, man. It really is.
Bro, might as well not play. I mean, let's be honest. DJ Reed's gonna follow him around. He ain't gonna do squat. I'm gonna tell you, he ain't gonna do squat in this game. DJ Reed's gonna be in his hip pocket all game. He's like, I'm as tall as you are. That's not an advantage for you today. I'm riding with you everywhere. I'm just letting y'all know now. He ain't gonna do a dang thing in this game.
All right, fair enough. Listen, man, a great week 2 in the books. Week 3 next week, we are definitely going to be breaking it down. Hopefully the Bears can get a win, because I got to say, as a host, when you got a team that starts 0-3, the season can look very daunting with 14 games left. And I would hate to have a creator already just feeling down in the dumps like the season's over 3 weeks in. So even if you're not a Bears fan, we got to be rooting for them just to give them a little something. We don't want to see Nick bowing out too early. You know what I mean?
He's used to it.
Hell
He's used to it, man. He'll be
well,
fine.
I tried, guys. Nick, I tried, man. I tried. All right. Well, listen, Nick was here earlier. Appreciate him for tapping in. I'm Jesse, your host. We got One Bar, Dose, and Bass, the best content creators on the planet covering the NFC North. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place, 6 p.m. Wednesday. See you then. Peace.